What we're going to do in this video is explore place value involving decimals. And in particular, we're going to think about how you can regroup value from one place to another, which is going to be very useful later in your life when you start doing some more arithmetic with decimals. So let's first think about what this number is right over here. So each square represents a 1 or represents a whole. So what number is this? Well, you could see that we have 3 whole ones, so we could write 3. And then we have right over here, a whole is divided into 10 equal bars, these vertical bars. And so each of these are a tenth, and 4 of them are shaded in. So it's 3 ones, 4 tenths. And in this part right over here, we've divided a whole into 100 equal sections. It's a 10 by 10 grid. And we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them are shaded in. So this represents 7 hundredths. So this is 3.47, or 3 and 4 tenths and 7 hundredths, or 3 and 47 hundredths. Now what we're going to do is explore how are other ways you can put the value into the different places. So let me set up a little table here. I don't think I'm going to need all that space, but we have in this first example, so we have our ones place, we have our tenths place, and we have our hundredths place. I had to curve up a little bit. And so what we just did is we said, hey, this was pretty straightforward. This was 3 ones, 4 tenths, and 7 hundredths. But are there other ways that we could look at it? For example, is there a way of reimagining this? So instead of 3 ones, we have 2 ones, and we still have 7 hundredths. So how many tenths would we have in order for it to be the same value? Pause this video and think about that. All right, we'll do it together, and to help us, I will put what we had here just now. Now what's different, instead of having 3 ones, we now have 2 ones. So we could say that these are our 2 ones right over here. Our 2 ones. We have our 7 hundredths right over here. So essentially we would have to express all of this in terms of tenths. So how would we express it all in terms of tenths? Well, this, what used to be a 1, this is equivalent to 10 tenths. Let me make that very clear. Let me see if I could shade this in with that green color. So there you go. I'm going to shade it with the green color, and then let me draw a bunch of lines here to make it very clear. So I'm just going to hand draw it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I didn't draw it as straight as I need to. They really should be 10 equal sections, but it was hand-drawn, so I think you understand. And so look, notice, I took the exact same value, but I have regrouped. I have regrouped this 1 right over here into tenths. And so how many tenths are here? Well, now I have 10 plus 4 tenths. So now I have, shaded in, 14 tenths. That was interesting. Let's do another example. So now let's imagine another scenario. Let's imagine a scenario where we have 3 ones again, but this time, instead of having 7 hundredths, we have 27 hundredths. So in that circumstance, how many tenths would we have? Pause this video and see if you can work it through. All right, well, let's get that same number again. And now let's think about how we might have to regroup between the places. So we have our 3 ones. So that was just like the first case right over there. So we have our 3 ones. But now we have 27 hundredths. So in addition to these 7 hundredths, we have to find another 20 hundredths someplace. Well, the most natural place to go would be right over here. And 20 hundredths is the same thing as 2 tenths. So what we want to do is we would convert these 2 tenths into hundredths. And so let me actually just shade it in a little bit. So I'm going to convert this right over here to hundredths. And so there, did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so there you have it. This plus this gives us our 27 hundredths. And so how many tenths do we have left? We have 2 tenths. 2 tenths. So in this situation, we regrouped 2 from the tenths place, and we expressed them as hundredths. So 2 tenths became 20 hundredths, added to the 7 hundredths that you already have, and we now have 27 hundredths. Hopefully that makes sense.